Welcome. It is a new year. Happy New Year to you. 2025. We made it. Another year in the books. How incredible 2024 was. We'll talk about all of that as well as what is in store for the new year. We have the Louisville cheerleaders, at least a couple of them, talking to us, dropping by in a recorded interview that we did before Christmas. Weren't able to get to you because of content, vacations, all that stuff. So we'll be debuting it right here on the Ysn Power Hour today. And we'll have more of those interviews from Louisville, some special ones, especially with some breaking news coming out of the Ville yesterday, really earlier, late last week, early this week, whichever way you want to put it. Some big news. Louisville is moving and a shaking. And I got to start the show by saying this. Oh, by the way, the show brought to you by our friends at Toyota Warren. Got to start the show by saying this. I owe a deep apology to not only the sport of basketball in this area, but all the players and schools that are playing red hot hoops right now. Guys, gals, we have some great basketball happening right here, right under our nose in this region. And it was so cool to be able to be on the road, on vacation with my family, and be able to lock in to what was great basketball being played across the network by network teams. Shout out to East Liverpool. My goodness, Nate Birch, the new record holder in the Potter City for threes in a game. 11 three-pointers in a game. The dude had to stay late and help put the lights back in because he shot them all out against Oak Glen. My goodness, 11 three-pointers. Side note, when I went to Florida, the cough went away. When I came back to Ohio, it was back. I don't know what that is. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what that is. Crazy, though. But back to Nate Birch. Dude, what a great game. What a great season Birch is having. What a great season the Potters are having. And then right nipping them in the heels, Beaver Local having themselves a silent but deadly year on their hands. Owen Hill continues to be a standout. I mean, if you're not paying attention, and we've been absolutely boxed into, we're a football network, I'm going to tell you, that's not the case. That's not the case. We're a football network when it's the fall because it's 4 months long. I don't know that's like saying that we're just a baseball network whenever it's baseball and softball season. It's just we are where our feet are from that standpoint. It's incredible. Yeah. All right. Sam Torres is an elite commentator. Yes, he is. Wait a minute. Comcaster? Sam likes Comcast, I guess. He's a commentator for sure, and one of my dear friends and one of the most exciting voices on all of the network by far. But a Comcaster, maybe he's got Comcast. I don't know. Broadcaster? Yes, he's an elite broadcaster. Comcaster? He is an X Factor for certain with Xfinity. I'm sure. This is not a sponsored post. I get it. Oh, I see what you're doing here, Tare. I see you. Commentator, podcaster, Comcaster. I'll take it. Some new verbiage for our lexicon, I guess, here on the Ysn Power Hour. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you. Sam Torres, elite when it comes to pretty much anything. Again, give Sam his due. The dude he's there for the kids. He's there for the communities always. So Terry, you are right on point, my friend. When you think about what we're getting back to hoops, my gosh, so many good basketball teams, so many good basketball players in this region that we're being able to see more than ever. And you look at Ursuline, what they've been able to do. You look at Columbiana, and I believe they're still undefeated, if I'm not mistaken. Just Todd Johnson is a basketball wizard. I just want you to know that. I want you to understand that Todd Johnson, a basketball wizard for what he's been able to do and what he has. Now, I'm not saying that he's got nothing, but I'm saying that guy, if you gave him $1, he would spend it like it was 10. It's incredible what he has been able to do and what he's been able to get out of his players. And they play an exciting brand of basketball, let me tell you that. They are fun to watch. And one of the big reasons, they like winning. East Liverpool, they like winning. You look at some other of these. I'm going to pop these up and have a cheat sheet here. So hang with me. South Range 4-2 on the season, undefeated in conference play. So is Poland. Those two teams will meet up on Friday. I'll have that matchup for you in the Thriller Dome. Who else we have here? I wanted to draw attention to some teams. Perry is 5-1, 3-1 in conference play. Orange is 4-5. They're tough, and we're talking boys basketball right now. You look at even the EBC. You look at what Salem. That is a very. I mean, if you're ever talking EBC, just imagine it's the most physical conference around. West Branch 3-4 overall, 1-1 in the conference. Salem 1-1 in the conference, 4-5 overall. But that is a really tough conference to play in. You give credit over in the EOAC, where Valley Christian is 3-0 in the conference, 5-2 overall. And then everybody else is just kind of hanging in there. My Bulldogs are 4-3 overall. So give kudos to them. Chris Huxold and the 4-4 Lisbon Blue Devils. Southern sitting at 2-5, so they're struggling through. Leetonia is 3-5, so you want to feel good about that. And Leetonia's had some really tough stretches and tough years in the past, but obviously the Bears getting it done. And United is having a tough one, starting 0-3 in the conference, but 2-8 overall. No matter what, they're getting wins. There's nobody that has no wins on their record right now in the EOAC, and that's a good thing, because the EOAC, to me, is quickly turning into a basketball conference. And I don't mean any disrespect by that to any other sports, but you look what Columbiana, Valley Christian, Wellsville, Lisbon, what they're able to do year in, year out. Southern has been in the mix the last few years. I think East Palestine's on the come up. United's been in the mix over the past 6 or 7 years. And Leetonia is on the come up as well. I think we're seeing the evolution of basketball in this region, and nobody's talking about it. Everybody just talks about how bad we suck, year in and year out. Let's be real. That's all we ever hear. Well, you guys are good at football, you're good at baseball, good at softball. Basketball, you'll never be able to contend. Bull crap. The Canfield, 8-1 overall. Boardman, 6-2. Howland, 6-2. Fitch is 4-5. You got teams down the stretch that are going to make impacts, and major impacts, and possibly very long runs as they head to Dayton. And I know we don't want to talk about Dayton, but Christmas is over, folks. Sorry, Santa. It's hoops time. And this is what we're seeing. And we mentioned the Buckeye 8. We mentioned East Liverpool, 8-2 record right now. 6-2 for Beaver Local. East Liverpool undefeated. 2-1 are the Beavers. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch our teams win. Let's take a look at the MVAC Gray. You've got Garfield at 7-1, 2-0 in their conference. LeBray right behind them with 5-4 overall record, but 2-0 in the conference. I mean, you got winners. You got winners, Mikey. In the Scarlet for the MVAC, Campbell Memorial. I mean, they were slow to start, but man, they are quick to finish. They got 7-2 overall, 5-0 in the conference. You look at what McDonald's been able to do so far, 4-0 in the conference, 6-3 overall, 3-2 in the conference for Springfield, 6-4 overall for the Springfield Tigers. Western Reserve still in the thick of things, a 3-2 conference record, 6-4 overall record. Mineral Ridge, 2-2 in the conference. Both of those losses Well, I should say 5-2 overall. Both of those losses are in the conference for Mineral Ridge. I mean, you got some absolute dogs in here. And then you look at what Badgers 1-11 right now. They're having a tough season. But when you lose one of the best players in the region, you're going to have that. You're going to struggle a little bit until they kind of find their bearings. But Grand Valley, they're not struggling. 8-0 overall, 4-0 in the conference. Mustangs are red hot. Red hot. Pymatuning Valley, 6-2 overall, 3-2 in the conference in the NAC. Who else we have here? NE8. Let's go over that again. South Range, I said 4-2 overall, 3-0 in the conference. Poland 4-3 and 2-0. Lakeview 5-4, 1-1 overall, or 1-1 in the conference rather. And then it's kind of anybody's game from the bottom bottom four rather. Struthers 2-8, Niles is 4-3, Hubbard is 2-6, Girard 3-4. But it goes to what we're looking at, and Warren JFK, by the way. Warren JFK, 5-2 overall, 2-0 in their PTC. I mean, just so many. I can't get to, for some reason, what I want to get to. So, I mean, we talked about Urson. Urson is incredible right now. I think when you look at the girls, pardon me, when you look at the girls, Cheney has, and I'm just going to come out and say it, Cheney has been one of the most surprising teams we've seen. But Ms. Brown, and I say that because you want to put respect on her name, holy cow. Holy cow. Alyssa Brown is the real deal. We've heard about her. We've seen her in action. The real deal. Legit as it comes. In girls basketball, people have poo-pooed on girls basketball for years. We've seen stars come and go. As a whole, girls basketball in this area, in this region, has been found. It's good. It's good. I remember the days where nobody wanted to go and commentate a girls' game. Ever. You had Anthony Hartwig and myself, and that was it. And now there's a fight to the schedule to get these games covered. Poland girls are on fire. You've got just team after team after team after team that just continue to show up and show out on a nightly basis. It's incredible to see what we have seen to the start of the year. Most of these teams don't care. Most of these teams don't care until after the new year. That's when the real season starts, right? That's what coaches tell you to make themselves feel better and make their teams feel better about stinking in the beginning portion of the year. But we have teams that have separated themselves from the pack, from the conferences in the early going. So what that results into is a lot of teams are at the top of the stack, and there's a lot of teams at the bottom, and not much in the middle, right? There's not much cream filling in that Oreo. It's either you pop or bang, and that stinks, right? You want a little bit more of that competitive nature in the middle of that cookie. You want a little bit more of what it means, but there's plenty of time for the competitive nature, for those trap games, for those opportunities for these teams that are learning as you're building the plane in the air. There's a lot of that opportunity that's available right now. And you're going to see it starting today. You're going to see it starting tonight. Maybe in most cases, because we got a lot of snow. I'm not Storm Tracker 21, but I don't have to be to tell you to look out your window and there's a lot of snow on the ground. A lot of schools get canceled today. A lot of games get canceled tonight. A lot of games getting moved, postponed, wherever for Friday because the Ohio State Buckeyes are playing. I think everybody understands that. But let's play it real here. These young ladies, these young men are worth the price of admission to go out to your local high school, go 2 schools over, 3 schools over, wherever you got to go to watch a high school basketball game, boys or girls, they are worth the price of admission. They are fun to watch. And I'm not just talking about fun to watch for a game or two. They're fun to get behind. They are fun to go to the standings page on YSN and just make sure that you are up to date. Watching teams like the Columbiana boys, the East Liverpool boys, Beaver Local boys, Ursuline boys, Cheney, East. I mean, you're talking about incredible basketball. Grand Valley right now, the Stangs are running wild, brother. It is fun. Like you cannot sit there and say that they're not fun to watch. You can't even sit there and say that basketball is bad right now in our area. Now, ultimately, on the grand scale of things, do we still need to kick our game up a little bit come February, March? I think so, but I don't think there's too many coaches that would disagree with that. They have the champion's advantage around the state. The only one that can sing praises right now is Hoban, right? 2 years taken away from a state championship. They were in the thick of it last year as well. So, I mean, you look at what they've been able to do across the way. I mean, we had some deep runs last year with Canfield and Ursuline and Hoban and there's the one that's escaping me. I want to. I'm not even gonna say it because I'm not sure. But the level of play has been, without a shadow of a doubt, it has been brought up. It's been brought up. To me, there's no doubt, and it comes with precision shooting. Our outside perimeter shooting has been stellar around here. You see people fall in love with it because that's what you see on TV nowadays. But you look at guys, again, like Nate Birch, like Luke Rowan, the all-time leading three-point shooter in South Range history. These are guys that are in the barn all year round, putting dents in the hoop because they shoot so much. Fine-tuning their crafts year round. Basketball is something that you need to understand. It is something that needs to be worked on year round. You can't just pick up a rock and start chucking it at the backboard. Oh, don't you worry your sweet little tushy there, Timmy Porter. We would never forget about the great basketball up here in Pepper Pike. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it. You guys are doing 4 and 5, I think, in the CVC, and obviously Coach Marv is worth the price of admission by himself. But what he's been able to do with that program, man, incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Let's see if we can find. I want to make sure I said it right. 4 and 5, right? 4 and 5, 1 and 3 in conference. And then I've got to figure out a way to see this better. Is there a button here? There we go. How about one more of those? We're experimenting here live on the air. Yeah, there we go. So you look at what they've been able to do. 5 and 5. My apologies. We're slacking. We're slacking on our standings page, brought to you by RL Craig. Beat Beechwood on Saturday night. Well, that's a big one. That's a big one, Mr. Porter. As you and I both know, the arch rivals of the Orange Lions is Beechwood. And anytime you can beat Beechwood, that's a huge, huge win for that program. It's the Ohio State versus Michigan. I mean, it's that realm. These two communities respect each other. They don't necessarily like each other, especially when it comes to lining it up on the hardwood or even on any playing surface. I guess I don't even know if would you consider the pool a playing surface? Because my goodness, Noah Ricks lights out, calling the Olympic style swimming and diving and all that stuff that happened up in Orange. Yeah, we do it. We do it here on YSN. Thanks to guys like Noah Ricks. Thanks to guys like Tim Porter making sure and taking care of all that stuff. So those players and athletes that work so hard in the pool, they get their coverage too. But my whole point, my let's go full circle here. My whole point, I apologize because I've been part of those conversations where I say, basketball is just not good here. I stand corrected, number one. I will defend it moving forward, number two. I apologize to the players, the programs, and certainly this area as a whole. Because as we sit here in 2025, basketball is a sport we need to be watching more. We need to be going out to these gyms. We need to be testing the concession stands, certainly, but these gyms and supporting these student athletes because the brand of basketball they're playing is significantly better than it has been in such a while. Such a while. Since we started YSN, certainly, but I think you're talking decades longer than that. The last time I remember basketball being above average and playing meaningful basketball down the stretch is the late 90s. I think sports as a whole in the late 90s, early 2000s was significantly better than it was. There was a drop off there for a while, and then it picked right back up. And I think we're at the top of that coaster again. I think we're at least moving up that hill to the top of that coaster. I don't know where the peak is. I'm saying maybe if I had one of those magic globes, magic balls that you look into and you say, okay, where is the peak coming? I think that we've got a nice 5 to maybe 10-year stretch of great sports coming our way. Now, whether that stays up, I think everything is cyclical, just like in life. I think everything comes at you in waves. But I do think the next 5 to 10 years in sports in this region is going to be just madhouse. It's going to be unbelievable. It is going to be madhouse. Good. And I think it's going to be across the board. I don't think there's going to be many sports that you look at and you say, okay, we can go ahead and get rid of this one or replace it or whatever you want to do. I think the student athletes, the level of the student athlete we have coming is significant. It's significant. It's because of places like this in athletics, these facilities that have been built. And I'm not saying that there needs to be one in every town, every district. I don't think that's the case because I don't think it'll get used. I think it would be a waste of space. But part of the richness of places like athletics and why the competition has lifted is because I'm a firm believer that iron sharpens iron. And you can't get better when your best is not being covered by somebody else's best. There's a reason that practice in the National Football League or in Major League Baseball or in NBA or whatever, name your sport, you can only have your best play. In basketball, it's the 6th best player, right? In baseball, it's the 10th best player. Baseball's a little tricky, but in football, it's very challenging, especially if you don't have 2 platoon, to have your best player go against the best player on defense. Because in these areas, most of the time, your best player on offense is your best player on defense, whether they have the football or not. It's the same way in basketball. And I think places like athletics, where you can come here and you can play a team with a different color uniform every night of the week if you really wanted to, or play someone that's not in your school district, that's important because you're only going to get better when your best is challenged. Nobody gets better at 50% speed. Nobody. You only get better and develop if you're playing 100%, or as close to 100% as you can. And I think this is the places just like this, that you see kids walking right past into that field house every single day. They're getting better, and it's starting to show. It shows on tape. It shows in the statistical categories. It shows on Big Dogs of the Valley. It shows on Plays of the Week. It shows on everything we do. And again, it's because the best are not afraid to not take days off. They're not afraid to go at it and to build endurance, to build their skill set. They're not afraid to fail anymore. Basketball is back. And I got to say, it is better than it's ever been. Now, does that mean automatically that just because basketball is better that we're going to bring home a state championship? No. Because you got to remember, other people are getting better too. Other people are paying for those same sessions. Other people are in the gym. They're in the film room. They're doing all these things. One of the biggest things, the biggest mistakes you can make is that the only statistic that matters for most people in most arguments is that, well, did it bring you a state championship? And if that's the guiding force, if that's the argument, then only one team per year, per division, was a success. And I don't think, and I'm not playing for participation trophies, but I'm also not absolutely blind to the fact that there's a lot of luck that goes into it. There's a lot of politics that go into it. Coaches will tell you the same thing. Just because you don't win the state championship does not mean that your program is not getting better along the way. And it doesn't mean that it's not the best that it's ever been. And this sounds like an infomercial for participation trophy. Don't get me wrong. I hear it. I'm talking out loud, but I'm hearing it as well. But I don't think we can just judge our championship caliber seasons. District championship, regional championship, conference championship. Sectionals, I don't know. I don't know about sectional championships. Well, that's a story for another time. But a district championship, those should be celebrated. A regional championship, absolutely celebrated. Conference championship, you celebrate those. Why? Because you beat the teams that you weren't necessarily supposed to beat. I think we've got district championships coming. I think we've got regional championships coming. Certainly have conference championships on the way. Folks, we're living in an era where basketball in our region is better than it's been. Let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got some interviews from our lady cheerleaders over in Lowellville. We'll step aside, pay some bills, and have them when we come back on the Ysn Power Hour, all powered by our friends at Toyota of Warren.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
It means the world to me to know that what we're doing is impacting people. And whether it's simply, I got to watch my son or daughter when I was out of town, or we just love watching YSN. We love what you do for our son or daughter. So whenever someone says thank you or someone is appreciative of what we're doing, it tells me everyone at YSN is doing what we initially set out to do, which is shine a light on these athletes and help them kind of promote themselves. My name is Anthony Hartwig, and my sports network is your sports network.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is Louisville Player Profile, and it's a cheerleading edition. We're spreading cheer this time of year with McKenna Beeson, senior at Louisville. And McKenna, when you think about cheer, there's people that sit there and go, it is a sport, it isn't a sport. I am on the side of a sport, so put the daggers down. But I heard there's been so much success with this Louisville program. Talk to me about what you bring to the table and what you're so proud of.
I just think our coaches are some of the best around. Our whole program, like, we just know what we're doing. It's very perfection. We make sure, like, at our practices, we always say, like, game ready, making sure everything is game ready. We'll keep running it until we have to. There were times at cheer camp we stayed up super late just to get something perfect.
Yeah.
It's definitely just, we're making sure everything goes smoothly.
To be able to hone your craft, how did you get into cheering, and then how have you advanced it, and how the level of, I guess the best way to put it, level of seriousness over the years? I mean, everybody starts and it's a game or it's just something fun to do, and then all of a sudden you're competing for championships and what Jocelyn said, the banana, which I learned all about. Talk to me about that, how it started for you, and how you've really taken it to the next level over the years.
So growing up, I always went to the football games, and I would watch all of the cheerleaders down there, and I would always complain to my mom. I didn't want to wait till 3rd grade until I could cheer. It's all I wanted to do, seeing their jackets and everything. We have the same jackets. We've been using them forever.
Really?
We called them the legacy jackets. It was all I wanted, so I started in 3rd grade. My mom was my coach for a little, so that was nice. And then that went into middle school. I've been doing it every year since 3rd grade. And I just think the older you get, the more you really, it just clicks.
Yeah.
And I just grew to love it. I think over the past years, I've definitely, really grown to love it. I'm definitely going to miss it.
What are some of the things that it's taught you along the way?
Honestly, practice makes progress and not perfect. I think that's something that a lot of people don't really get. And, you always hear the saying, practice makes perfect, but, you're not going to get it immediately.
Right.
Even, learning how to tumble and stuff, that was something that was always a goal for me. And it took a little, but I definitely persevered and just to keep going for the end result.
Those people that don't take cheerleading serious and don't think that it's a sport or part of, the influential part of the game or contest, what do you say?
Try it.
Love it.
Honestly, I think if people just went down, just endured what all we do at cheer camp, they would definitely say something different, because the amount that we do there, how sore we are by day 2, day 3, it's kind of insane, and you don't really think about it until you're there.
Is there anything that you saw early going cheer that you can do now with your eyes closed, but you thought at the time, I don't think I'll ever be able to do that?
Honestly, just taking leadership. That was something I was always nervous for, or even expressing my creativity by making things. Me and Jocelyn made our starting lineup, our dances, some cheers, everything. That was my biggest fear.
You're doing the choreograph?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I was really nervous about, because I was like, oh, what if it doesn't look good, or what if I don't know what to do? But it just kind of came naturally. Me and her dance at the same studio too, so it's just kind of something we're used to, and I think it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
How has cheer affected your relationships, your friendships, your inner circle, so to speak?
Yeah. So freshman year, I remember getting placed with the other 4 people that I did, and I was like, oh, I would look at my seniors and see, they've been together since their freshman year. I wonder if these are going to be my friends my senior year.
Yeah.
And they are. And that was, I was always close to Jocelyn, but a few of the other girls I didn't really get close to until cheer. And now they're my best friends. They know everything. So it definitely molds us. How
does cheer fit into your future plans? Is it the last hurrah here this year? Or are you going to try to keep going?
There's been some thoughts about maybe trying in college, but I'm still undecided.
Have you made a decision on what college you want to go to?
I'm still stuck between Kent and YSU.
Okay, so for you, what do you want to study? I mean, that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Cheer's great,
yes.
But what do you want to study?
I want to go into psychology.
Psychology?
Yes.
All right, so what intrigues you about that?
I just always loved helping people. Even before I wanted to go into pediatrics, something like that, working with kids, and then I've just always been someone who's been good at advice. I'm really empathetic, and I was like, wait, psychology, that would be perfect, counseling, everything like that.
So you're good at advice?
Yes.
What is the best advice you've ever received?
I would say treat yourself like you're your own best friend, because I feel like when someone's in a situation, they don't really think about it from an outside perspective, and just I always say, like, give yourself the advice that you would give if someone else is coming to you to that problem. Like, treat yourself like your own best friend.
All right, I'm bought in. You're going to be a great psychiatrist one day. So for you, who have been the supporters? Who's been there just continuing to pick you up when you fall? Because it looks like that you've had a lot of successes, but we all know that all those successes mean that there were a lot of falls that came before.
Yes.
Who's been there for you?
Obviously, my parents.
Sure.
I'm really close with my family. My mom's mom, is my best friend. A few teachers at the school, Mrs. DeLuca, Mrs. Kerbsack, Mrs. Durienzo, who used to work there. My dance teachers, Jamie Corden, Cameron Cervello, Sophia Manelli, just everyone, yeah.
Let's talk about family. Big
Yes.
family, small family? What do you got?
I have one sibling.
One sibling. Older, younger?
Older.
Sister, brother?
Brother.
Brother. Okay, so Christmas around the corner.
Yes.
Favorite Christmas present? Favorite Christmas memory?
I don't even know. I just love seeing, like, all of my family that, like, I have an uncle who lives in Cleveland a lot, so just seeing him come in and just everyone coming together, it was just my favorite memories.
Do you have a favorite tradition that your family does?
At my grandparents on my dad's side, we have this little pickle ornament, and it's
Okay.
always a game with the cousins of who can find the pickle first. And I usually win.
What ultimately, I mean, you said you want to be a psychiatrist, but for you, do you want to stay local? Do you want to go somewhere else? Is there something out there for you?
I don't know for sure yet. Probably a lot of my family's still here, so probably staying around here, but it just depends.
Do you guys go on vacation a lot?
Usually, like, we used to go to Florida a lot,
Yeah.
but since dance, I go to Vegas every
Oh,
July.
man.
Yeah, that's
You
for
like
my
Vegas?
nationals. I do.
It gets a little crazy out there.
Yes, it
Do you
does.
have favorite attractions out there?
We usually go for the 4th of July, so it's just nice seeing, like, all the little celebrations. and stuff.
Crazy out there, I'm
Yes.
sure. So I've been to Vegas twice now,
Yes.
and it was within like a month of each other.
Mhm.
Do you have a favorite? Like, do you like to go to the Strip? Do you like what is it, Old Vegas they call it? I mean, there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of different places.
Usually just the Strip. It's with my dance coach. It's hard to, like,
Get out.
out, but
Yeah.
usually just walk around the Strip whenever we can.
All right, so that means that you've been on a plane before.
Yes,
Do you like traveling via aircraft, or
I do.
do you? Okay,
Yeah.
so what is your favorite part of the flight, and what is the least favorite part of the flight?
I just think the plane ride home is just usually the worst because
That's
I'm just trying to sleep and I can't really with all the noise and stuff. But I like the window seat, just like looking out and seeing everything.
I was just gonna ask you, are you a window or an aisle person?
Definitely window.
Okay, so if you had a group of friends
Mhm.
and you were all separated over the entire aircraft because somebody messed up your flight,
Yeah.
would you take a middle seat next to two people you didn't know?
Yes, as long as I have my AirPods in.
So you're not going to talk to him at
Yeah.
all. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I was just going to ask you, what question would you ask the person to the left and the person to the right?
Probably where they're going, like what's like where they're staying, like what brings them to wherever we're going, and just if they've been there before, anything they recommend, like base surface level questions.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for taking time for us today. Congratulations on all your success. We know that you're going to be a success in the future. McKenna, thank you so much again. We appreciate it, and let us know if you need anything.
Thank you.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is Louisville Player Profile here at Giovanni's in Louisville, and we're here with Jocelyn Del Signore, senior cheerleader for Louisville. We're spreading a little cheer this time of year, as everybody else is. But you, young lady, spread cheer all year round. Senior cheerleader, tell me about how fast it's gone for you and what cheerleading's done for you.
Honestly, cheer has really changed my life. I was one of the people, like, in our friend group that joined cheer kind of late. I didn't join until 6th grade, and everyone kind of started when they were in 3rd grade, so I didn't really know how I was going to fit into that. But, like, all my friends really wanted me to do it, so I ended up falling in love with it. And then once I got to high school, like, getting to cheer with Angel and, like, Liv, who's now our assistant coach, like, they just have such a love for us, and it really felt like a family. So I'm so happy that, like, the fates aligned and I got to, like, do that. And it's really just makes you like so happy to like be able to like you said, spread cheer like all year round. Like it's so fun.
When you think about cheering, a lot of people think, okay, well, it's only like a part-time gig. You're only going to do it in football, and you're only going to do it in basketball. There's nothing really to do in the spring, but cheerleading has become a national sensation. I mean, the athleticism, the to be able to do some of the things that you do. What drew you to the sport as a whole, and what's kept you going?
So since I was 3 years old, I've been dancing like at Jamie's Dance Force. So I've done competitive dancing. So that aspect of it definitely drew me to it. But then like I've kind of like, so that's kind of like my forte with it. But then I've learned like I love like the spirit aspect of it and getting involved with the crowd. So that really keeps me going, is like that's our job, to like get the crowd involved, and there's such a sense of community that comes with it. So I think that's like my favorite part of it, probably.
Well, that's kind of leads into my next question, because I mean, it's how do you judge yourself? How do you rank yourself on a nightly basis? Is it how much you can get the crowd involved? Because I gotta feel that the game has something to do with that. If it's a boring game, your job gets a lot harder.
Yeah, it is really hard because like obviously there are going to be games where like we might not play as well, but that like is when we come into play. Like you can't let that affect your performance, and you have to like keep that same bar set really high and like keep being like cheerful like no matter what. So it is a challenge, but when you're surrounded by the team that we have, it's really not that hard. We have so much fun with each other.
And cheering too, it takes a team. I mean, if one person's off, you're going to know really quick. It's almost like a choir or a band, because you'll be able to figure out if one person's out of rhythm, out of sync, everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the adversity that you faced in cheerleading. I'm sure you or your teammates have had moments where it's like, oh, I wish I was just a beat faster or a beat slower, whatever it may be. How do you kind of recompose yourself during a game that maybe people don't see?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's bound to happen. We're a group of 20 teenage girls, so there are
Oh,
moments
goodness.
where we like kind of might bicker with each other, but we become really good. We're such a tight-knit group that we're good at communication, and Angel and Lev are such great coaches that they're like, let's sit down, let's talk about what might have went wrong, what we can do better. And we've never really had like big moments of like any bad things happening because we're really good at communicating.
Most people look at cheering as a non-competitive sport. You look at it as one of the most competitive sports
Yes.
there are. Why is that?
A lot of that stems from when we go to UCA cheer camp, because you run into that room and we're a squad of 20 girls, but we're facing like schools like Upper Arlington who have like 400 girls that they bring
Yeah.
in. So it's really a challenge because you're all fighting to stand out and be the best and be seen. And I'm really proud of our team to be able to do that and like win the banana and things like that, because we're so small. So people definitely don't realize how competitive it is.
Win the banana? You're going to have to help me with that one.
Oh, that's like the top spirit award.
Okay.
So like that's what you go there for 4 days and you're fighting for that banana. And it seems dumb, but it means a lot. Like that's like top tier award.
Have you ever brought it home?
Yeah, we brought it home this year and my freshman year. So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So the competitive side of things, I mean, talk about what meetings are like. I mean, we hear about football meetings and film study and stuff like that. For a cheerleader, what does that entail? What does that involve?
yeah, so we would have meetings like pretty much every night at camp where we would all get together. Everyone had an opportunity to talk about what they might be struggling with. We would like inspire the younger cheerleaders and tell them what to expect. And just like pretty much, it's just a really open environment. Anything that they were struggling with, like we have seniors that pair up with freshmen to help them. So meetings are really good. Just open communication is the best part of our team, really.
You're a senior now. You brought home the banana. When you think about the younger generation looking at you, these young cheerleaders that are looking to be in fill your shoes and be in your shoes someday, what advice do you have for them?
I would say really just appreciate it and have fun. Like, obviously, I know that the groups under us, like, they're going to be fine. They have it down, and we've taught them everything they need. So for, like, the more technical aspect of everything, they're going to be fine. So just really appreciate it and have fun because it goes by so fast.
The academic side, let's talk about it. I heard you already picked your college. What are you looking to do?
I want to attend Youngstown State University. I'd like to major in journalism and minor in fashion.
I like journalism. Journalism's fun. What draws you to that?
I love to write. I've always loved to write. So, and then also I'm on the Louisville media team, so I write for the Rocket Review, and that really just made me fall in love. Shout out to Mrs. DeLuca. Thank you.
Shout out. Media. Okay, so that is a broad, obviously broadcasting, journalism. It's a broad. What do you want to do with that?
I'm looking to go into news broadcasting, I think, and like reporting. That's something that I've always been really interested in ever since I was young. So
That's incredible.
Thanks.
It's a tough field, very judgmental field, political field sometimes. When you think about where you want to end up, where is it? Is there is it a news station, like particularly somewhere, or is it just anywhere you can find a gig?
I mean, as of right now, like anywhere I can find a gig, I kind of have like a dream that the minor in fashion is going towards is like maybe Vogue someday.
Oh,
I read
wow.
Vogue religiously. So
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so the writing comes in handy, and now that media is really a 5-tool trade, what are your strengths and what things do you think you're really going to have to work on and learn in college?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I feel like I'm working on just like kind of the more technical things because I've always felt like I'm a really like strong writer in school, but like in media, like I'm learning more of the like journalism things. Like sometimes I like use words too much or like filler words and stuff like that. So it's just more of the like technical things I'm going to learn with my major that I'm excited to kind of dive into.
Jocelyn, I got to tell you, you're already a step ahead. You've been incredible. You got a great on-air presence. It's very uncomfortable sometimes to put on a headset and do what you're doing right now. So for you, who are some of the role models who led you in that direction or have put you in the place that you are today?
I would definitely say my coaches, Angel and Liv, Miss Jamie and Miss Cameron and Miss Sophia at my dance studio. And then on the media team, it would be Miss Curbsack and Miss DeLuca. And then also Mrs. DiRienzo, because she kind of also pushed me to kind of go into this field as well.
What about outside of your craft? Who are the people that inspire you?
Oh, definitely my parents, because I'm an only child, so they're just kind of like the people I go to for everything.
What is the best advice your parents or parents have ever given you?
They really just kind of give me freedom to make my own decisions, and they'll give me advice, but they kind of just told me that my future is in my hands and they'll be proud of me no matter what. So I've always really appreciated that.
What is your favorite subject in school right now?
Film. Honestly, I love film. We have a great time in film.
Sounds like a good time. I mean, you don't got to do anything. You just watch film, right?
Yeah, and we talk about it, and the
You talk about
discussions
the
get pretty
okay.
fun.
So what's the favorite film that you've seen in film class?
We watched School of Rock, and I
Oh.
loved that movie.
Great flick. Great flick. All right. So who is maybe someone that influenced you in the early age to do what you're doing today? Maybe somebody that just kind of give you the uplift that you needed.
I keep going back to like dance because that really like changed my life because being in like I started when I was in elementary school, and so like being a little kid and having to go out on a stage in front of like 1,000 people, like it can be scary, but that puts you outside of your comfort zone in a way. So I feel like after doing that, nothing seemed as scary after that, and it just made a lot of challenges that you face in high school like a lot easier, I feel like.
What is the biggest, I guess, easy question for you now? Maybe you just answered it. What is the biggest fear that you've ever overcome?
That's not an easy question. I don't know. I don't know if I really have like a biggest fear. I mean, yeah.
Fear is just it's an illusion, right? Just like
Yeah.
everything else. What is the most proud moment you've ever had?
I was probably winning the banana this year because it was one thing to win it my freshman year. Like, that was a great way to start my cheerleading career, but it's so different when you're the senior leading that team because we've been working for 4 years to get to that point, and that was always our goal. So, like, I felt so much pride in that moment for everything that we'd worked for.
You have the ability to go anywhere in the world, unlimited amount of money, unlimited amount of time. Where are you headed and why?
Easy, New York City.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
I love New York City. I visited there the last 2 summers to go visit my uncle, but I just fell in love with it, and that's like kind of my plan with journalism is to work my way up and move there.
Okay, number one media place in the world. I love the ambition. For you, what's the 5 stops you always have to do in New York City?
Oh, gotta go to Broadway.
Okay.
Love Broadway, Fifth Avenue. I stop by Central Park every time, walk around. I kind of just like walking around the city and just like kind of
Times
pretending
Square?
I live there. Not Times Square.
You don't like Times Square?
No, Times Square is awful.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Favorite store there that you always kind of frequent? You don't have to buy anything. You just like being there.
I mean, I like to go in like the rich stores on Fifth Avenue and pretend I can afford it. But I can't.
What is one place that you'd never want to go again?
Times Square.
Times Square. New York City and New York City.
Avoiding Times Square.
That's awesome. Jocelyn, any last points that you want people to know about you and your journey along the way?
I I mean, I just want to say thank you to everybody that supported Louisville cheerleading, because I feel like at our school, like, people notice it a lot more than maybe they do at other schools and appreciate us. So thank you.
Awesome. Jocelyn Delsignore, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see you in New York City someday on the big screen.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Two great interviews from Jocelyn and McKenna. Thank you to them for their time. Thanks to Bill Stanton for setting everything up. To our friends over at Giovanni's in Louisville, thank you. Great food. Just a great location. Nobody coughs there. Great location. Unbelievable. Cannot wait to get back there Wednesday night and sit down with more of Louisville's finest right there at Giovanni's in Louisville. And so here's one of the things that we wanted to talk about. Actually, let's do it in Spark fashion, because we've got to get it sponsored, and of course our friends at Joe Dickey Electric love this, so we got to give it to our friends Eric Carlson and the folks over at Joe Dickey Electric. It is the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, the first one of 2025, and it's brought to you again by Joe Dickey Electric. You can visit them today at DickeyElectric.com. Joe Dickey Electric, they are everything electrical. All right, 2024 into 2025. We've had a lot of time to keep our eyes on 2024, as we do each and every one of us every year. There's a lot of ebbs and flows. There's a lot of highs and lows. There's a lot of great moments, disappointing moments, challenging moments, depressing moments, but we made it through. And 2024, and I know there's so many that have had challenging years. What I can tell you is I've had challenging years prior to 2024. I'm sure I'm going to have challenging years after 2024. But for this particular human being you're looking at right now, 2024 was one of the best years of my life. I professionally, I feel like it was one of my best years. From a personal standpoint, we were able to start our family in 2024 officially. And we did some things in 2024 that we may or may not ever do again from a personal and professional standpoint. But what I can tell you is in 2024, the company that you're supporting right now by watching this, YSN, Your Sports Network, had 13.5 million views on our website alone. That doesn't include social media, which is another. It's kind of like one of the two biceps that we have. One of them is our website, the other one's our social media, and they work kind of in tandem to make us who we are. To have 13.5 million views in 2024, and there's a lot of people that'll sit there and say it is impressive, it's not impressive, and quite frankly, and don't take this the wrong way, it doesn't matter, because it matters to the guys that made those 13.5 million views happen. Guys like Anthony Hartwig, guys like Brian Scott, guys like Ty Bartell, guys like Sam Torres, guys that look at that, Gary Altizer, guys, Andy Hake. You look at that, and our views, you have to understand our currency, because if nobody was watching YSN, if nobody was going to our website, then people like Toyota of Warren, Baird Brothers, Joe Dickey Electric, the list goes on and on, R.L. Craig, Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs, they don't want to spend money with us. They don't want to support our mission. But since we have 13.5 million views, while that's great for us, it is incredible for the student athletes that are on YSN. Why is that? Because they're being seen. They're being heard, they're being noticed, they're being recognized, they're being acknowledged. That is why 13.5 million views is good. But it's not good enough. Because if we're being completely transparent, I put a lofty goal of 15 million views on 2024. And we didn't reach that. And just like anybody that doesn't reach their goal of a district, regional, state championship, right? Conference championship, it drives me that we're going to absolutely annihilate our next goal. Because as happy as I was that we hit 13.5 and we were over 12.4, which we did in 2023, we didn't hit what I wanted to hit. And I take full accountability and responsibility for that. And I feel like I let you down. I feel like I let those aforementioned people down because we didn't hit our goal. We didn't win our championship, and we left the floor and we didn't have the confetti falling on our face. 2025 is going to be different. 2025 is going to be electrifying. It is going to be the most electrifying year that we have ever had, because I promise you that 15 million is going to be hit, smacked, and beat up all the way till our next goal. We are going to surpass 15 million views this year in 2025. And it's not because it's just a number. It's because I am a competitive person. It's because I do want the best for every student athlete, every person that either works for YSN, watches YSN, or appreciates and supports your sports network. I want the more names in lights. I want more opportunities for not only our employees, but for our student athletes in the YSN districts and over 70 different communities that rely on YSN to get their news, sports, highlights, scores, stats, stories, so on and so forth. Folks, you have to understand that this is a dog-eat-dog world, and so far YSN has been constantly churning from 50,000 views in 2017 to 13.5 million views in 2025. There was a moment I had talking to someone that means a hell of a lot to me on the beach, and I'm sitting there on the beach boo-hooing about how we didn't hit the goal that I had set out. And he goes, "Oh, man, it must be tough to have 10% growth year after year after year after year." Boo-hoo. And you put it in perspective. And I'm not a participation trophy guy. Third time I've said that today. But it is something to win, which we did, and it's different to run up the score, which is what we wanted to do. I'm telling you that 2025 is going to be a year that we not only win, but we run that score up so high that people are asking how we did it. And we might not even know. But it's going to be a year that I've already talked to the executive team at YSN, Chris Ziegler, Steve Leslie, Anthony Hartwig, Mike Swinehart, Ty Bartell, Sam Torres. Round the table. We went around the table. We're all winning this year. We're all running the score up. It's the time for complacency has never been on our clock, and it won't start now. Expect big things. And some of the things you can expect, number one, most important thing that I can tell you in 2025 is going to change is that we will have a recruitment platform for every student that wants it, from free all the way up to monetary values that we're still discussing. But it's going to be called YSN Prospect. And if you haven't heard of us, go to ysnprospect.com. You can go there now. The site is live, and you can actually sign up for it. What I'm going to tell you is it's going to change the way that not only we broadcast, it's going to change the way that we report. It's going to change the way that you can be recruited without us having to recruit for you. Think of it as a LinkedIn platform for your student athlete. Think of it as an opportunity to have your own profile, so to speak, that you control what is seen, and professionally what can be and won't be seen. We want people to see your Instagram. We want people to see how tall you are, what your 40 time is in football, what your wingspan is in basketball, what your exit velo is in baseball and softball. We want people to see the opportunity that exists here in this region. Only YSN affiliated schools and student athletes are eligible to sign up for YSN Prospect. That's important. Why is that important? Because we are going to link stories from YSN Prospect, right? And we're going to hyperlink them into YSN stories. So people want to know who's doing the damage, who's making the news. They can click right on your hyperlink within a story and go to your profile on ysnprospect.com. We're going to make it so easy for coaches to get in touch with you or to be seen that, like LinkedIn, once your profile is clicked on, it will automatically alert you that a registered user, whether it be a player, a coach at the high school level, a coach at the college level, is looking at your profile. We want you to be aware of who is seeing you. So we will have so many registered users at all different levels of all different sports. We will have combines to which you will be able to register with video evidence, not just my son runs a 4.240 and leave it at that. You'll have video evidence on your profile that you run a 4.240 so coaches can see, so you can see, and the world can see you, and you can get better. Also, in 2025, this show and Running Point, as you know it, Power Hour, Running Point, will no longer exist. Starting very soon, all you will know is YSN Live. That's it. YSN Live. Brought to you by Toyota of Warren or brought to you by our over at Greenwood Chevrolet. The confusion ends, and the YSN Live namesake that we've known for the last 8 years will continue and will be stronger than ever. Anthony and I will be the lead hosts of the podcast, and you will have it just the way. You can still ingest it just the way as you always have, but it makes it easier for us and the end user to understand what show they were on, when they were on, and why they were on. We're excited about this change, incredibly excited about this change, because we think this in turn will bring in more change. We will replicate what people are so used to in the podcast world, and it will be more digestible for years to come. We're excited about change in 2025. We're excited about being better in 2025. And I can promise you that we are excited about being the best for you in 2025. 2024 was an amazing year, filled with all kinds of wins, filled with many opportunities for us to raise our arm together. But what I can promise you is that in 2025, so long as I'm still on this earth, we will continue to raise our arms together for what we started this entire business for, and that is to give a platform and a sense of heroic belonging to student athletes in their own communities and in this region. That's your spark. That's exciting news. I'm excited. And certainly for those two reasons right there, and so many reasons beyond that, that we are still kind of cutting our teeth on in the back rooms. YSN is we're ready. We're ready for bigger and better, upward and onward. And we're excited to bring it all to you. Will we make mistakes? Absolutely. Do we always? Yes. Do we always pick ourselves up? We sure as hell do. So we'll pick ourselves up again tomorrow, Tuesday edition of YSN Live / Power Hour. Some of the last Power Hours you're going to get right here on this network. Make sure you tune in 3 to 4 right here on your sports network. For everybody here at the YSN family, we bid you adieu for this Monday. Get out. If there's games happening, stay safe. I hope the roads are better. They were good on State Route 14 in Ohio 7, so I hope they're good where you are, and you can go out and take care of some basketball. If you can't, you can watch them right here, ysnlive.com/live. Until tomorrow, we'll see you. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your